Hello and welcome to part 5 of our resume tutorial series on Turbo 360. In part 4 we set up the configuration for the social media icons on the left side sidebar, and so in this video we're going to continue the configuration of the sidebar by adding a logo and then move on to the main area of the resume site. But before we do any of that, let's test it out to make sure everything still works. Here I am in the root level of my project. I'm going to run the dev server. And then head over to localhost 3000. Make sure everything looks okay, which it does. And here's the sidebar. And then if we open up the code and click on the global.json configuration file, this is where we left off in the last video. Here we have the Twitter icon set to false, so I'm going to set that back to true. And when we reload, we should see the Twitter icon show up in the bottom, which it does. So everything still works, everything looks good. Hopefully it does on your end as well. We are now going to set up the logo section right here. So here I've prepared a sample logo for the purposes of this demo. And it's very easy to do. You can do this on canva.com. And literally I just picked the logo section right here, and I just picked a random logo and downloaded it, and that's it. The important thing to remember is that the logo here in the theme has dimensions 100 by 125. So I created a logo whose dimensions were close to the same. So I think this is 105 by 125. So very close. So you want to do the same thing. You want to create a logo whose dimensions are approximately the same or very close to it, so that when you upload your version, it'll take up the same amount of space. So what we want to do now is we want to head over to Turbo, to the project dashboard. So here's my project dashboard for this particular website. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see a storage option. You want to select that. And here is where you can upload static assets and images and whatnot. So we're going to upload the logo, which is right here. And we can now use this as the image for the logo. So if we head back to our code, in the global configuration file, we can do logo and then paste in the value from the storage table. And then open up the sidebar partial, and the logo you can see is right here. So we can do global.logo, and that should make the replacement. So if we go back to the actual site and then reload, here we have the logo, and it looks good. So great, that's been taken care of. So this can now be configured from the global JSON, and that makes life a little bit easier. So the next thing we're going to do is start focusing on this section right here on the main page. We're going to make this entire thing configurable just like we did with this up here. If you remember, everything you see in this section is configurable from the page configuration file, the home.json. So we're going to do the same thing with this section right here, and eventually the entire site, to be honest. So let's go down to this section and start working on this to make it configurable. So we open up our code and we open up the home JSON, which right now is only this, and we're going to add a new section, a new key called section 1, and everything we populate section 1 with will be the contents of this section right here. So we have a header, a subheader, I guess we'll just call that a greeting, bio, an image. I'm probably going to get rid of these so we can have a longer bio, and then a resume link, and I'm going to get rid of this too. I think it's just overkill. So let's go ahead and start filling that out. So we have a header, subheader, That's going to be this right here. So let's call that learn more about me. And then we have a greeting. And that's going to be this right here. I am a software developer. And then bio. And that will be this entire block of text right here. I'm just going to copy and paste that because I don't want to type in the whole thing. And then image, or let's call this image portrait. And that will be this right here. And then we'll call that resume. Okay, so here is the section 1 contents that we can then populate this entire section with. So it's a matter of just going into the index mustache and finding that area. And here is the about me, that's this right here. And that can be replaced with page section 1 header. And then this is going to be subheader. This right here is going to be the greeting. And here is the bio. Okay, so we've populated most of it. So we have the header, subheader, I am a software developer, and then don't worry about this animated text yet. We will take care of that. Here's the bio text from the JSON file. We did not take care of the image or the PDF yet, so let's go ahead and start working on that. So first off, let's get rid of that send message button that's down here. And then this area right here, I'm going to get rid of too, just because I want to create more space for the bio. So let's go ahead and get rid of all that and then reload. Okay, great. So basically we can write a bio that's twice as long now, which is good. And then let's grab an image as well as a PDF for this. So instead of download CV, I think it would make more sense to say download resume. There we go. Okay, and then actually we should make that configurable. So let's go with resume and then button, download resume, and then URL. Okay, and then if we go back to the index.mustache, we can then say page.section1 resume button. Nope, sorry, button resume button. I was right, sorry. Okay, great. Okay, and then let's set the URL. So page resume URL, and we want to open that in a separate window so it doesn't navigate away from the site. And then for now we're just going to have it go to Google just to put in something as a test. So let's see how that looks. Cool. So now what we want to do is actually have a resume. That's going to be typically a PDF document. So here I have just a sample PDF I'm going to use. So I'm going to upload that. Sample PDF as just an example resume, so we can click on that and then use that as our URL. So when we reload and then click on that button. Looks good. Okay, and then last thing is this image right here. So I have an image already prepared for that. That's going to be this portrait image of Batman. So let's go ahead and upload that. Let's take a look and see how that looks, which is good. Head back into here and then paste in the URL. And then over here, this was a little confusing when I went through the theme for the first time, but I believe this is the one. This is the image URL that we want to use. So it's page section 1 image portrait. And let's see how that looks. And there we go. I'm going to copy and paste this bio basically twice. So if we go back to the home.json, we have our bio section right here, and then I'm going to just paste it in twice because I left space there for the reason of having a longer bio. Now I want to create some spaces there, so in here where I pasted it, instead of just pasting it again, I'm going to add 2 break lines, line breaks, so that I create some paragraphs. Now if you look at the reload, you'll actually see those line breaks show up as as raw text. Right now we don't want that, we want actual line breaks. So what you want to do instead is in here, where is the bio? Down here, instead of double curly braces, we actually want triple curly braces. The triple curly braces means that it will be rendered as HTML, as raw HTML. So then we create that space that we want. And that means we can enter the bio as HTML. We can add hyperlinks and format the text and things like that. It gives us a little bit more flexibility in terms of how we want to render this text. And yeah, and so that's it. So in the next video, we're going to take care of this animated text because I do like it. We don't want to get rid of it, but formatting it right now is a little bit tricky. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to take care of that. But before we do, let me just capitalize these two. Okay, but before we do, the very last thing we're going to do is deploy this site, because you should always end on a deploy to make sure everything works on a live environment as it does on local. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So we're going to deploy this to staging, and then don't forget we made changes to our configuration files as well. In fact, both of our configuration files, home and JSON. So we want to deploy those config files as well, and that has to be done separately. So don't forget that. It's very easy to forget, but once we confirm that, then it becomes very easy to change things, which is the whole reason behind this style, this structure. So this deployment is almost done. Okay, and then don't forget to deploy the config file. So turbo page home and turbo page global, and that updates those 2 config files. And then let's see how it looks on staging. And very nice. We are now looking at the same thing as we were looking at on local, but we are on the staging environment. So everything is properly functioning, everything looks the same, and so we can continue coding with the knowledge that everything is working as expected. And let's make one small change to the configuration file, so home.json, and let's add an exclamation mark after the welcome. So right now it doesn't have an exclamation mark, so now I can just do turbo page global just to see if that configuration quickly updates. Oops, I'm sorry, home. That was a home configuration. Wrong config file. And there we go. Great. So updating this is now very easy, very seamless, very convenient. So that's the idea behind that. Great. So in the next video, we will take care of this animated text and then move on to some more sections of this, and that's it. So hopefully you got everything working. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.